One of the things that I see people having the hardest time with is how early they are to cryptocurrencies. If you were an investor in the internet in the 1980s and 1990s, and knowing what you know now, you would have had zero worries about a lot of the growing pains of the internet in those early days. In this video, I want to highlight just how early you are to cryptocurrencies, but more importantly, really break down what is going to change that moving forward. Guys, I believe this is going to give you a much better perspective on why the cryptocurrency industry is so irrational today, but why that's going to change in a massive way moving forward. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you have any good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So like I said in the intro, one of the things that I really see people having a hard time grasping is how early they are to cryptocurrencies. Something I hear constantly is, oh, why does something like XRP not move and all these other crap coins go up hundreds of percent? And one of the things I really try to tell people is right now we're in a rational market. We are in a market right now where most of the participants don't understand the true value proposition of cryptocurrencies. Because of this, a lot of cryptocurrencies move despite the fact that their fundamentals don't actually reflect it. We saw the same thing in the early .com era. We saw a lot of different internet stocks pumping massively, but it had nothing to do with the fundamentals because the participants of the market didn't really understand where the market was going to go over the long term. It was only the enthusiasts, it was only the people who really understood the technology who were able to properly forecast where the market was going. And because of that, a lot of these people who were investing in the underlying technologies weren't rewarded in the short term, despite the fact that their theses were correct. Now, the people who benefited the most from this were the people who never changed their thesis, the people who stuck to it, the people who understood that they really did have a deep knowledge for how the internet was going to be transformational, and the companies and protocols providing utility were going to be the most important things moving forward. The people who gambled on whatever was hot at the time and played into the hype and FOMO, those were the people who typically lost the most. Now, with that said, I want to show you guys exactly how early we are to cryptocurrencies, because this is really going to help you wrap your head around why we are so early to this asset class and why this asset class behaves the way it does. Now, with that said, the most important thing we need to talk about is when this is going to change. When are we actually going to see utility come to the market? And I believe that could actually be way closer than many people truly understand. And I want to give you an event that I believe is going to be the thing to really make that happen. Now, I want to start off and just show you how early we are to this market, because it's one thing for me to say we're early, but it's another thing to hear from some of the largest money managers on earth saying, hey, this is a unique opportunity that is more powerful than the internet. And we're actually a lot earlier than most people even got to investing in that transformation. Before I show you this video, I just want to say there are so many people who look back and kick themselves. I never invested in the internet stocks. I never invested in Google, Amazon, whatever. And a lot of these people just think, oh, I missed it. I'll never have an opportunity like that again. When the reality of the situation is there's always a new opportunity. There's always a new thing for you to go out and find, but it's never easy. It wasn't easy investing in those internet stocks in the early days. Of course not. Everyone said, oh, this internet thing is a fugazi. It's not going to develop into anything. Why you need to use this? We already have radio, all these different things, right? No one understood it. But the people who had a deep core thesis for why it was going to be important, those people understood that regardless if even they saw the entire picture, the technology was transformational and it was going to completely disintermediate the way we use information. I think the same exact thing is true for cryptocurrencies. And I think the more you can wrap your head around just how early we are, the easier it's going to be to see the big picture and really discount a lot of the irregularities we see in the market today. So I want to start off with this interview from BlackRock, talking about how early we are to the cryptocurrency market, because this is the kind of stuff that should let you know that all the FUD, all the scary things you see on a daily basis about how this thing is doing something better than your cryptocurrency, how utility coins shouldn't be things you're investing in, this should disprove all of that and let you guys know that we are just getting started. Listen up to this.
Head of thematic investing at BlackRock, I really spend a lot of my time thinking about the future and some of the disruptive changes that are impacting the world and society and the economy. in our portfolios around us. Oftentimes, this is about disruptive technologies. Oftentimes, it's about societal changes. But what we found with blockchain and digital assets is that in some ways, this is one of the fastest growing technologies we've seen in the last few years. On the right-hand side of the chart, you can see our adoption curve. This is just looking at how quickly certain assets are adopted by society. And you can see that blockchain and digital assets are being adopted faster than major revolutions before it, whether that's the internet or whether that's cell phones. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The first reason is just we're living in a more digital economy than ever before. If we're consuming things online, streaming videos, playing video games, buying digital content, it makes sense to have digitally native assets to conduct those transactions, particularly when there's, secondly, and importantly, in a year like this year, where over half the world's population is voting for new leadership, not just the elections in the United States, Mexico, and India, and the European Union, we're seeing more geopolitical risk than before, and in fact, declining trust in institutions, whether that's trust in government institutions for maintaining peace and order, whether that's trust in central banks in terms of keeping inflation under control. More distrust has exacerbated the need for a global monetary alternative. The third we're seeing is demographic changes, the rise of the millennial and Gen Z generation. Millennials, at least in the United States, are set to inherit trillions of dollars, are entering peak earnings years in their work, and are increasingly playing an important role in the economy. And millennials are very different from previous generations because we, were the first generation to be digitally native, growing up with the internet, growing up with computers. We understand digital better than previous generations, and that means we're more likely to adopt digital currencies.
So I'm going to pause it right there, but this is so important to understand. He makes it clear, and look, this is no scrub. This is one of the heads of research at BlackRock. He makes it clear that we are watching a transformation right now. We are watching a transformation that is more powerful than what we saw in mobile phones or the internet. When you're talking about major technology shifts, it really doesn't get much bigger than that. And what we're talking about is fundamentally more important. Those were just ways of moving information from point A to point B. This is moving money. And the last point he makes is key. Who is going to be investing in these things? Well, it's a generation that understands them. It's a generation that is cryptocurrency native. Think of how many people in your life who don't understand anything about investing. Would they be more willing to invest in a cryptocurrency or a stock? I could almost guarantee you that most of you are sitting there saying, well, they don't invest in anything, but I guess it would be a cryptocurrency, right? There's some weird interest there for the younger generations, and there's a new intrigue on how this can be transformational. We are about to watch trillions of dollars reinvested, and those trillions of dollars are going to be invested in an asset class that this generation understands, which is a disruption of the entire financial system. No one thinks money should take 3 to 5 days to move. That is what cryptocurrencies are disrupting, and we are watching an adoption curve that is faster than some of the most powerful technologies we have ever seen. This alone should let you know that we are at the extremely early stages of what is going to be a revolution. And just so you guys understand, according to that chart, we are still in via the internet days. If you were to relay that on top of cryptocurrency days, we would be in the 1990 era of what the internet was in that early cycle. So we are still 5 to 6 years out, according to that same chart, from the time we saw that big mass adoption boom for the internet. That's how early we are to cryptocurrency. Now, for some people, that's massively disappointing. They're like, oh, I have to wait so much longer. But for a lot of people, that lets you know that you are at the ground level of a transformation that is going to be bigger than most of the other tech stacks we have ever seen. And if we take a look at what's actually going to be the thing that causes that transformation, I don't think it could be more obvious. What it's going to be is regulatory clarity. And something we got earlier today that I believe absolutely is critical to that happening is an administration or a government that allows the industry to prosper. The thing that allowed the internet to finally take off was when governments let it in. They created systems and procedures around the industry to allow adoption to happen. Without capital, without money, an industry is essentially stifled. And that's what's been happening in the cryptocurrency industry. But what we are on the verge of is something that has never been seen before. which is a regulatory environment that could be pro cryptocurrency. Take a look at this. We now see that Robinhood's chief legal officer could be the person to replace Gary Gensler if we do see a change in the administration. This is the kind of thing that would completely change the way large institutions, large governments, everyone looks at the cryptocurrency sector. This would be that moment where it's no longer some cool idea. This is something that could be adopted, used, and implemented for utility. This is something that could happen as early as a year from now. You're on the precipice of watching this technology that has all of these massive things going for it. All this adoption, faster than smartphone, faster than internet, finally be put into a place where it can reach prime time. Without the regulations, without a government in power that is willing to aid and foster the innovation, it's never going to happen. But for the first time ever, it looks like we might actually get that. And this would be the thing that takes the cryptocurrency industry mainstream and gives it that internet-like boom we have been waiting for. Guys, the important thing to know from this video is you haven't missed it. We haven't missed that boom. That boom is still around the corner. And like I said, it is the biggest people in finance telling you this boom is yet to happen. They haven't even properly positioned themselves yet. They're still working on that, and you beat them to that. Now it just comes down to picking the protocols, picking the assets, picking the companies that are going to benefit most. I have never been more certain that when we zoom out from all of this, it is going to be the companies building real products that win the biggest. I don't think that's too much of a stretch to say. There's other people who might be making a video right now saying, you know what, those are the things you need to avoid. You need to go for speculative things. You need to go for meme coins. That's where you need to invest. Guys, everything I have ever seen through investing in history tells me that strategy is wrong. I believe that things providing real-world utility that are going to be critical in building this new layer of infrastructure are going to be the most valuable when we zoom out 5 to 10 years from now. What I want you guys to know is you haven't missed anything. We are currently in the process of watching a technology unfold that is more powerful than some of the most disruptive technologies we have ever seen. Regulations are the thing holding that back, and that has the potential to break in less than a year from now. Guys, position yourself accordingly. But what I'm trying to show you here is that we are right now in front of something that could completely disrupt the way we move money. And a lot of people think they missed the boat. Guys, I'm here to say the boat hasn't even left the station yet. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.